Are you trying to raise bilingual or trilingual kids but are confused about the whole process? For example, are you confused about whether you are confusing your children with multiple languages? Well, in this video, I'll clear up all this confusion by answering some of the top questions I get from my viewers and other multilingual families I meet in real life. By the end of this video, you'll have much more clarity and confidence in navigating this journey. Keep watching. Hi everyone! Today I am answering your questions. These came straight from you, my viewers, and they cover everything from language confusion to passive bilingualism, partner dynamics, literacy challenges, and more. If you're meeting me for the first time, hi, my name is Kai. I'm a UK-based mom raising 2 trilingual kids. This channel is all about helping other multilingual families out there. So if you're raising a bilingual or trilingual child or thinking about it, grab a cup of tea and let's dive in. So question 1. I want to raise my child bilingual or trilingual, but I'm worried they'll get confused. What should I do? Will my kids get confused? This is maybe the #1 question I get as someone raising trilingual kids. This is such a common worry, but the science is clear. Children won't get confused. First, what do people actually mean when they say confused? I think that they mean mixing languages, which is actually a normal and temporary part of the process. It's called code mixing, and it happens because children don't yet have enough vocabulary in one language to fully express themselves, so they mix in words from another. As their vocabulary grows in each language, the mixing should naturally decrease. And research shows that even babies can distinguish between languages. One study found that infants as young as 4 months old can tell the difference between 2 languages, even if they don't understand the words. So no, bilingual or trilingual kids are not confused. They're just processing a lot and learning a lot. I've made a separate video exploring the subject of code mixing and code switching, linked down below if you're interested. Question 2. How can I split languages when raising bilingual or trilingual children? Okay, this question came as a comment on one of my videos, and I think it's something a lot of my viewers can relate to. So my answer is this: it really depends on your family situation. For us, I am Chinese, my husband is Russian, and we live in England. Our 3 languages are Mandarin, Russian, and English. So we keep it simple and use the OPOL, one parent, one language method. I speak Mandarin to the kids, my husband speaks Russian, and as a family, we use English. That's also the language they hear at school and in the wider environment. If both parents speak the same minority language, for example, you are both Chinese living in the UK, I would recommend just speaking Chinese at home and let English come from school and the outside world. This approach is known as the minority language at home strategy, and it can work really well. And if only one parent speaks a minority language, like mom speaks Mandarin and dad speaks English only, then again, OPOL can work really well. There's no one size fits all, but in general, the simpler and more consistent your strategy, the better. If you are a total beginner, make sure you check out my 100% free 45-minute complete course for multilingual families. It also comes with free PDF downloads to help you get started. Link down below. Question 3. My child understands the language but won't speak it. What should I do? This question comes up a lot, and honestly, at least maybe half the families I know who are trying to raise bilingual or trilingual kids fall into this exact situation. The children understand the language, but they just won't speak it. There's actually a term for this: passive bilingualism. It means your child has strong comprehension in the language. They can follow along, respond non-verbally or in English, maybe even translate what you're saying, but they are not using the language themselves. They're absorbing it, but not producing it. And that gap between understanding and speaking can be really frustrating for parents. How do I know? Because we experienced it firsthand ourselves. Essentially, I think the way parents respond to this challenge falls along a spectrum. On one end, you have the gentle approach, modeling the correct language without pressuring your child to speak it. And on the other end, there's a much firmer approach, actively prompting or even requiring your child to speak the target language in response. Let's take us as an example. Our son understands all 3 of his languages by age 3, but he only responds in English. It It was incredibly frustrating. We tried the gentle approach for a long time, repeating his sentences back to him in our languages, modeling the correct version, but honestly, it didn't work. So eventually we switched to a more, let's say, hardcore approach after speaking to a French dad about this. Basically, we made him repeat what he said, but in our languages. We did that consistently for about 3 months, and the progress was amazing. By the end of the 3 months, he was speaking our languages. So that's definitely on the firmer end of the spectrum, and it's not for everyone. I'll be the first to admit that. But it worked for us. If you're not comfortable with that approach, you can stick to modeling. Just be aware it might take a lot longer. Passive bilingualism is real, and transitioning to active use sometimes requires a bit of a nudge. I've made a separate video deep diving into our 3-month transformation journey, link down below if you want to find out more. Question 4. My partner doesn't speak my language. Is that a problem? This question came as a comment on one of my videos. My answer is clear. No, it's not a problem. Or I should say, it doesn't have to be a problem. My husband doesn't speak Chinese and I speak very limited Russian, but OPOL still works well for us. That said, I do think it helps if you try to learn at least a little bit of each other's language. Not necessarily to become fluent, although that would be good, but just to build understanding and connection and diffuse tension. OPOL can sometimes create a bit of tension, especially if one parent feels left out or doesn't know what the other is saying to the kids. We have had moments like that in our household, trust me. So no, it's not a deal breaker, but a little effort and communication go a long way. I've made a separate video exploring this very topic, link down below if you want a deep diver. Deep diver? Dive deeper! Question 5. We don't have family around and can't visit our home countries often. Is it still possible to raise bilingual or trilingual kids? This question came from a lovely reader of my book who got in touch with me by email. And it's one I know many of you are wondering about too. And my answer is this. Yes, it's absolutely possible. How do I know? Because our children have never been to Russia or China, and yet they are trilingual. Okay, maybe that's a lie. My son did go to Hong Kong as a 4-month-old baby, but I guess that doesn't really count, right? So I didn't lie. Of course, immersion abroad can help tremendously, yes, but in my opinion, it's not essential. What matters most is what you do at home. I know families who spend every summer back home, but the children still don't speak the target language because the parents don't speak the home language consistently. Conversely, I know families like us who haven't spent much or even any time abroad, but still manage to raise multilingual kids. So the takeaway is this. Immersion abroad is great, but it's not the foundation. Having said that, I 100% believe that our kids' fluency in Chinese and Russian will improve substantially if we visit those countries. So that's very much on our list of priorities as a family. Question 6. Are you planning to write another book or update Bilingual and Trilingual Parenting 101? This one came from a lovely subscriber, Mac. Thank you for asking. For now, no. My main focus is growing this YouTube channel and my mailing list, but never say never. A future edition might happen. In fact, I do have very exciting plans for my book, which I don't want to reveal just yet, but I'll keep you all posted on any progress. Thank you for asking, Mac. Question 7. What if my language doesn't have graded readers or literacy resources? This question is also from Mac. Thanks for the question, as literacy is a really important issue, very close to our heart. We are lucky that Mandarin and Russian have tons of materials, but for lesser resourced languages, it's trickier, though definitely not impossible. I've come up with several ideas that I hope will really help you. Here's the approach I would suggest. 1. Start with the alphabet. If your language uses a different alphabet, begin by teaching the basic letters and sounds yourself. You don't need fancy materials, just simple flashcards or even handwritten notes can work wonders. 2. Repurpose existing English books. Pick up a basic English picture book, one with simple words like animals, vehicles, household items. Then cover the English words with sticky notes or handwritten notes showing the equivalent words in your target language. Read these books aloud together and practice writing the new words. 3. Move on to storybooks. If you can't find storybooks in your language, no problem. Translate simple English ones yourself. Use tools like ChatGPT for a first draft and then tweak the wording to suit your style and dialect or whatever. As a qualified translator, I can vouch that ChatGPT does a decent job for most everyday content, at least in the languages I work with. Once you've got your translation, you can paste it over the original text using sticky notes or printed slips or something like that. Voila, that's your custom-made storybook in your language. Or try the language experience approach. This is a great method for literacy in any language. Here's how it works. Your child tells you a story, maybe what they did at the park or a silly dream they had, something like that. You write it down word for word in your target language. Then you read it back together. It's simple, personal, and incredibly effective in building both confidence and literacy. 5. Look for community-created resources. Don't underestimate the power of community materials, community groups, Facebook parenting forums, or even your country's language council might have hidden gems. So definitely have a little Google around. The bottom line is that you don't need a shelf full of ready-made readers to teach your child to read in your target language. With a bit of creativity and sticky notes, you can build your own library of resources that's just as effective and maybe even better, because it's custom made. It's more about being resourceful than having lots of resources, as cheesy as that sounds. Question 8. How do I talk to my child about being bilingual, especially if others ask why they speak a different language? Thank you, Mac, for such a thoughtful question. This actually happened to us not long ago. I was picking up my son from school and we were chatting in Chinese, as we do. One of his friends overheard our conversation and asked, "Why do you talk in Chinese? What did you just say to your mom?" He wasn't being rude. I really don't think he was. He was just curious, he's an 8-year-old kid. But it made me realize something important. We need to equip our children with the words and the confidence to talk about their bilingualism or trilingualism. According to research by Barbara Zura Pearson and others, the way children feel about their bilingual identity is strongly shaped by how it's acknowledged or accepted in their environment. That means we play a huge role, not just in teaching the language, but in shaping how they feel about using it. So here's the balance I try to strike myself. On the one hand, we want to make it feel normal. Lots of families speak different languages at home. It's just a part of life and it's totally okay. For younger children, a simple explanation works well. You can say something like, "We speak Chinese at home because mommy is Chinese." Or, "That's just how our family talks." It's casual, confident, no big deal. But at the same time, I think it's important to lean into the fact that being bilingual, trilingual, is something special. It's not about bragging, it's about helping our kids see their language skills as a strength. I often say to my children, not everyone can do what you do. Speaking more than one language connects you to your family, your culture, and gives you a different way of seeing the world. So we normalize it and celebrate it. We give the children tools to explain it while also helping them feel proud. I would love to explore this topic by age group in a future video, because what a 4-year-old needs is different from what a 10-year-old or a teenager might need. But for now, here's the key takeaway. If we treat bilingualism as both a natural part of our family life and a superpower worth celebrating, our children will start to see it that way too. Question 9. Do you hide the fact that you speak English from your children? No, not at all actually. My husband and I speak English to each other and the children know that. There's no way to hide it really. But we are very strict about one thing. We always speak to the kids in our own languages and expect them to reply in the same. Some parents pretend that they don't speak English to encourage the child to use the target language. If that works for you, go for it. But for us, it just wouldn't feel right. I don't want to lie to my kids, and honestly, they would figure it out eventually. Question 10. Do you ask others to pretend they don't understand English when speaking to your kids? No, I don't. Again, it's not really my style, but I do ask my mom to speak to the kids in Mandarin always. Consistency is key. Question 11. Do you meet up with other bilingual parents outside your language group? Not yet, at least not in person. I did host my first Multilingual Family Hub online meetup recently, which was amazing. I'm thinking about organizing more events like that and possibly creating a small paid community for parents raising multilingual children. Stay tuned. Question 12. Do you play Chinese and Russian music for your children? This question is from Mac. This kind of made me laugh because honestly, not really. When the children were younger, we listened to nursery rhymes together in Mandarin and Russian, but now only occasionally in the car maybe. My husband sometimes plays Russian music and I'll sing Chinese songs from time to time. My daughter does love a particular Chinese song called 老鼠爱大米. So we do sing the song together from time to time and it's really sweet. So yeah, maybe we should bring more music back into our routine. So those were some of the most common and most important questions I get from parents raising bilingual or trilingual kids. Some of those questions are more specific to me and my channel, but I hope that for those of you following me, you found some value in that as well. So I hope that this video brought you some clarity, encouragement, and maybe even a few new ideas to try at home. But if you want to go even deeper into the real life strategies you've used, what worked, what didn't work, and what surprises along the way, then definitely check out this video next. Raising trilingual children is not easy. Find out what worked and didn't work for us.